Tony, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining. I think we were close to 300 participants, so that's great. If anyone's got any friends they want to bring along, get that number as high as possible. So yes, I am Steve Kerrison. I'm the CTO at MicroSec, and I'm going to talk a bit about what we do for IoT in terms of smart cities. That's not the only area we deal in, but it's a major part of what we do. And cybersecurity is going to be very important there. So I'm going to start by threatening everybody this morning. No, I'm not the mafia, but I am going to paint the problem that we face as a society when it comes to IoT cybersecurity. So if we look at data from a year or two ago, the number of cybersecurity breaches that were recorded was tripling over the course of that year. And the predicted cost, the predicted damages is in the order of trillions just by next year. In terms of who's impacted by this, 73% of industries had suffered from IoT cyber attacks, according to a survey by Siemens. And this was because the vast majority of devices being used were vulnerable to some sort of attack. So this is already a big problem and it's already costing money. So, what kind of real challenge does that turn into for us? How do we solve it, and what's getting in the way of that? Well, we have a lot of good cybersecurity solutions for big, heavy hardware. But IoT in smart cities could be sensors, it could be tiny remote devices. Getting the cybersecurity into those is one of the key challenges. So how do we take good, robust security and get security between the data center and these tiny devices? It's got to be strong, because any weak link is a potential breach for the whole system. It's got to be robust so that it cannot be misused. And it's got to be easy to use so that people will actually use it. So if we go into the bit of detail there, why is this actually not possible? IoT devices like the ones we see at the bottom here, so actuators, sensors, meters, door controls, anything, they have very little memory to run their workloads. They have very little computing power, and often they don't have much bandwidth to communicate. They're sending tiny messages occasionally, competing with loads of others for airtime. What that means is that existing cybersecurity solutions are just too big to work on these devices. And what people generally do is they'll use weak or no security because they want functionality and they sacrifice security to get it. So these devices become the easiest point of attack in the overall system. That's why so many devices are vulnerable. I probably don't need to paint much more of a picture of why that's not acceptable if it's going to be part of critical infrastructure in our society in smart cities. So where do we come in to bring a solution? MicroSec, its expertise is in cryptography for these tiny devices. So our secret sauce is a technology we call MicroPKI. It's public key infrastructure. If you want to know more about the details of that, talk to me later. Essentially, it's strong security, enterprise grade, but that we have made work in these very tiny devices. So that's the security part. This is complemented by the ability to manage it. Right? It has to be easy to use. So we have lifecycle management software that enables you to onboard, manage, retire IoT devices with that strong security over however many years that device is going to be in the field. And so we've got security, management, and kind of the third part of the picture is monitoring. So we can monitor the behavior of devices, the behavior of networks, and detect unusual things happening within them so that you can see maybe something's going wrong and what you might want to do about it. In terms of what we're working in, what kind of areas, we've worked with the Singapore government and GovTech on smart street lamps. We've worked with housing authorities in smart homes. We have a research project with the Energy Market Authority into securing power systems. And we're also working commercially with utility companies, as well as in automotive, all of which have some role to play within that smart city landscape. So how do we do it? What makes us different from anyone else? And I think it really boils down to the team that we've built. When you look at where we've come from, everybody in this slide deck here is in Singapore. Got quite a diverse background. We've got embedded systems experts, wireless network experts, penetration testers, software developers. We need these brains to make this sort of stuff happen. And building that diverse team with a large cross-section of knowledge is quite challenging. in terms of what our future holds and what smart cities future holds, when you look at the size of the market, IT cybersecurity spending is around 10% of the total budget. And we're looking at many billions of dollars being spent on cybersecurity as we go, maybe we look 5 years into the future. So what MicroSec is positioned to do is capture this size of market for securing IoT devices. It becomes more important post-COVID as we look to use some of these technologies to make our lives easier. As I draw to a close, essentially what I'm going to invite you now is to say, why should you want to speak to us? If you're an investor, you're interested in cybersecurity and the IoT market and the size of it, then we're seed funded. We're looking at Series A. Get in touch with us. Hardware designers, if you're making stuff and you want it to be something that companies or authorities will want to buy, talk to us. We can help you comply with their regulations that are either drafted or starting to be used now. People building smart cities, right? If you're here in Singapore, if you're looking at providing city solutions elsewhere, again, talk to us. We can help you plan out how to make it secure. Or if you're just curious, you want to know more, you're not quite sure yet, also let me know. Okay, so that's my 6 minutes. I apologize, not quite 5. But there we go. I invite you now to ask me any questions. Hopefully there's a few. Thank you very much.
Just a reminder, if you would like to ask any questions, you can do it in the Q&A segment over there. So I think I'll just start with one of my questions, Steve. So I just want to ask, what is the market that you are playing in Singapore? Who are your competitors? Do you have that many competitors, and what is your unique advantage over them?
Okay, in terms of Singapore, nobody else is working with the types of devices, these IoT devices like we are. So actually, if you look at other cybersecurity companies in Singapore, they come to us for the bit that they can't do. So that's great for us as it stands. Globally, there are not very many companies that do it. And in the region, I would say we are unique. There is competition in, say, the US and Israel. Some of those might lean more towards the military side. And of course, then they're catering to different use cases. So we're well positioned in Southeast Asia. We're also well aligned with Europe. In terms of our credentials, if I just skip back, some of our algorithms are NIST CABP certified, so that's a stamp of security. The government Spark program for purchasing, we've gone through that due diligence with them, and we're also partnered with Infineon as a security partner. We're helping them sell products hardware products that are easier to use because of our software. And again, like I said at the beginning, if stuff's easy to use, people will actually use it and benefit from it.